Is going to lead us in the flag salute. Please stand.
Hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Carter will lead us in an invocation. Please remain standing.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you just simply saying thank you. We ask you to bless the people through this heat wave, Lord. We ask you just to bless the people that they're hydrated, nobody gets sick. Bless the people that are in the emergency rooms, those that are sick at home. And we're asking you to bless the people who have went to school this week, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Hello, Councilmember Oliva. So now we move on to public comments. And so this is a notice to the public. This is a public meeting. If there is an item on the agenda on which you wish to be heard, you are asked to complete a blue speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Persons wishing to address the council are not required to identify themselves. However, this information assists the mayor by ensuring that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized and also assists the city clerk in preparing the city council meeting minutes. When the item is announced and your name is called by the mayor, please step to the podium and state your name for the record. Unless the mayor extends the time, there is a 3-minute time limit for each public presentation. If you wish to address the council concerning any other matter not appearing on the agenda, you may do so during the public comment portion of the agenda. However, you may not show a visual presentation without review of that material. If you do so, you will be considered out of order. Any information provided on the speaker slip is voluntary and will be public record. And so, Madam City Clerk, do we have any requests?
We don't have any.
You don't have any either in chambers nor
No, none, Mayor.
virtual? Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we move on to presentations, and we were scheduled to have a certificate of recognition for the Dynamo El Centro Soccer Club. However, most of their coaches are out of town, so they asked us to postpone the presentation. So we will certainly recognize them at our next council meeting. And we move on to the consent agenda. Okay, and okay, and everyone has voted, and all items on the consent agenda have been adopted. Thank you, colleagues. And now we move on to item number 10. And so this is a public hearing to solicit public input on the 2023-2024 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, also known as the CAPER. Approval of the CAPER and authorization for staff to submit the CAPER to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And this evening we have a presentation by Clara. Mrs. Adriana Navarro, Community Services Director, is not available. So I will now open the public hearing. So we will go on with the presentation. Thank you, Clara.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. My name is Clara Obeso, and I am the Community Development Specialist within the Economic Development Division. Tonight, I will present a summary of the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, also known as the CAPER. This report, which is mandated to provide at the end of each fiscal year, details how the CDBG allocation funds were utilized over the past year. For these two housing activities, the lead-based paint abatement and the asbestos, we had allocated $15,000 combined. This year, we did not use that funding due to us still having funding available from previous years. However, we do have some applications already lined up, so meaning that this fiscal year, most likely we will be using those allocations for what it was intended. Now moving to public services, the fair housing services it is we are required to provide for housing services year-round. We contract Inland Fair Housing for those services. Their contract amount was $47,250. So far, they have spent in $39,118. And as you can see, they have approximately $7,700. So once these funds are exhausted, again, we are required to provide the services year-round. We utilize part of our program administrative funds to cover the rest of the year until we receive our location for the current fiscal year. Continuing with the public services, so throughout the years, we have supported Catholic Charities with their various programs that they have. This year, we allocated $18,000 for the senior nutrition program, $6,000 for the homeless day center. And as you can see, they both were able to spend the full amount for their activities. El Centro PAL and Sure Helpline, again, they were able to spend all their funding available to them. For enforcement, we granted them $80,000 and they spent $54,035. Moving on to our program administration, we allocated $115,000 for 81, and we spent $86,518. See the next one. So here we still have some of the CDBG CV money that we received during COVID. This slide that you see here didn't change compared to last year because no funds were spent from what's remaining. That was round one. So now in round three, this fund was allocated specifically to help with the homeless day center and restaurant meals for seniors. They were still able to spend some of the funding available to them. These totals that you see here for the funds spended, that's overall for that program. So as you can see, they were able to spend this year $30,956 for homeless day center and $40,077 for the meals for seniors. On this one, this is where we basically bring it all together. As you can see, our beginning balance was $684, $657. Our allocation for fiscal year 23-24 was $563, $406. Our program income funding, we received $26,993.11, giving us a total available for the program year of $1,275,057.7 cents. We have spent $449,121. Our ending balance is $825,935. We have some remaining funds this year, and we have $629,686, which will be used for sidewalks. We're hoping maybe this year, and $120,000 will be used for our housing rehabilitation program. And we have available for reprogramming $75,000. Right now, we are on the comment period, the public comment period for the CAPER, started in August 9 and will end on September 7. And every year we make the copies available at the library, the community center, at the city clerk's office, in our office as well, and on our website. And if we receive any comments, then they will be submitted along with the final version of the CAPER. Any questions?
What we'll do, Mrs. Ovesa, we'll open up the public hearing first, and then we'll
Sounds great.
bring in my colleagues, for.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item, either present or remotely? None? Okay. So now, this is a quick close, but this public hearing is now closed. And so now we bring it back to my colleagues for any questions or comments from Mrs. Obeso.
I do, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just quickly. There's a couple of questions that I have, Ms. Galetta, just for the public in regards to giving their input. Is there instructions that we have on our webpage? How is
There's
this
no-
information being communicated to the public?
We print what we are going to submit to HUD is basically a booklet. You should have one with you.
This one?
Yes,
Yes, we have
correct.
it.
It's the exact same thing. Obviously they're free to, read it. And if, they're even free to ask for any copies that we would provide to them. And they can send us whatever questions, comments they may have regarding on how the funding is going to be spent. And we're always obviously available to them. But no, there's no specific format. We have never been instructed as to follow a specific format for the public to submit any comments.
Yeah, Ms. Gladden, the reason I was asking, just to educate the public, whoever
Mhm.
may be listening, should they have any input, that they would know where to go and what the document looked like and so forth, since it's still open until
Yes,
September
until
7th.
September
So that
7th,
was
correct.
the reasoning for the question. The other question is, so automatically, if the money isn't spent, then it's rolled over, and so
Yes.
we're never at risk of not expending all that amount. It just rolls over and it
Correct.
allows us to continue those services.
That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Oliva, do you have any questions or comments for?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I also had a question in relations to the money that's in remaining balance. You had a slide that showed ending balance 825, 935, and then at the very bottom, available for reprogramming 75, just shy of 76,000. Is it fair to assume that in a upcoming cycle, it would be those two numbers put together would be available for a future cycle? Or
When you say those two numbers, you mean the 825?
The ending balance, 825.9, and the 75.9 at the bottom.
So the 825, if you take what we have put aside for sidewalks and the housing rehab program, that's what gives us the 75,000.
Understood. So it progresses, it moves forward. So
Correct.
the number for
Right,
us to
and
know
the
is
reason why we like to have always some remaining balances in case any of our projects or activities that we have, I'm just going to give you a brief example. Let's say that we're working on a housing rehabilitation program, and there is, lead and asbestos, and the job is going to require more than we had allocated for that activity. Then we have a little bit of extra money available to be able to complete that project.
perfect. Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Carter, any questions or comments for Ms.
Not
Obeso?
at this time, thank you.
Councilmember Garcia?
No.
So I just have a couple of questions because I think I was thinking along the same lines as Councilmember Oliva. The goals that are set, are those set by HUD or do we do those internally?
We do those internally
Internally.
based on the funding that's available,
On
because we
what- okay.
never know exactly what our allocation is going to be for the program year. And we are required, number one, to put aside 20% for public services
I see.
and
Okay.
15%, 20% for program administrative and 15% for public
I see.
services.
So it's very strict guidelines when it
Very,
comes to, yes, I
very,
understand.
very.
Yeah. And, my gosh, I had another question in mind and it just skipped my mind. I was thinking, is there a time limit in which we have to expend the funds that are available for reprogramming?
No,
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 okay,
because the
right.
money is ours
I see.
already.
Okay.
So there is no risk of us having to
Of ever losing it,
return
yes,
it
okay.
or yeah, no, as long as
Okay.
we continue moving it and obviously as we're reporting it,
Yes.
as we should.
As we should, okay.
Yes,
So that's why this report is so important.
very,
Yes.
very, yes.
Alrighty. Okay.
Madam Mayor, may
Yes,
I add
yes.
one more comment? City Clerk, can you take us, oh, no, I'm sorry, you have the
Mm-hmm.
presentation. Can you take us back to the distribution for meals that are being provided at the homeless center and also at the, oh, here it is, the senior meals? Just a
Mhm.
good opportunity to share for any individuals that may find themselves being unhoused, that there is an opportunity to receive meals at the homeless day center. And also for our seniors to take advantage of the senior meals that are being provided
Uh-huh.
at, through this kind of funding that's available
Yes,
to
just
them.
some clarification. So the restaurant meals for seniors, those are not provided at the homeless day center. they were being distributed by the Area Agency on Aging. So we enter into a contract with the county for them to distribute those meals.
And then they just have to qualify for those services, I'm assuming, right, to receive those
I
services?
am not sure.
Yeah.
It's been, it's been a while
Yes.
since we entered into that contract. I can't remember if there was a way for them to qualify. I would have to check on that.
I just think it's amazing to take a look at the 2,370 meals have been provided in the community.
Yes.
And so just again, as a good reminder to our seniors or anyone who may be unhoused, that there are programs and funding that's being provided through CDBG funding and through the
Right.
city to be able to provide those services.
These specific meals are not for unhoused seniors. They are normally seniors who cannot leave their home, or they just financially, they need the extra assistance to be able to have, a proper meal.
Yeah, so I was just saying the two vulnerable
Oh,
populations.
the two,
yes.
The unhoused and then,
correct.
and then our senior population.
Correct.
So is this a seniors Meals on Wheels?
I believe that is a separate program that the
That's a separate
county
one.
has. Yes, this came out of the fund, the round 3 that we received for the CDBG CV funding.
Okay.
That's how this activity came about.
May I also highlight another slide that you may have? Can you go back one, I think? One more, please. There was the one where you had Catholic Charities, PAL.
This one,
There we go.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so the difference between this funding and the CDBG CV is the CV is the monies that we got during COVID,
During
correct?
COVID, that is correct.
And that's a separate fund than the
Correct.
traditional standard. And so to your point, Ms. Cardenas is saying that it's not just the monies that were allocated from the COVID monies, but this is also ongoing. So this slide is on top of the other slide
Yes.
that was highlighted.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we can add those
Yes,
numbers.
Catholic
Yes,
Charities, yes,
absolutely.
Catholic Charities, specifically the Homeless Day Center. This fiscal year that just ended, they were able to use, the 6,000 that were allocated from our regular allocation or annual allocation. Plus, there were still some funding available for the same thing, their purposes for the Homeless Day Center, but it was, again, a different funding source.
It just shows the commitment that has been
Yes.
made to ensure that those services are being provided in our community.
Correct.
And at the Homeless Day Center, they're provided three meals, correct?
I believe they are, and I know there's like wraparound services. I know they assist them with if anyone needs help with getting their driver's license or finding permanent housing. I know they have showers available for them. They
Nice.
even have some phone
Mhm.
charging stations
Very
for them.
nice.
They have a small little library. I don't know if all of you have gone into the Homeless Day Center, but it's a great place.
It's been a while, but I may step back by there.
Yes, they are, the
And-
service they provide there. I have been there several times and it's great.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, I think if there are no more questions, let us vote. Ready. So the motion was moved by Councilmember Cardenas Singh, seconded by Councilmember Garcia, and that resolution is adopted 5-0. So we are now adopting resolution number 24-66, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving the consolidated annual performance and evaluation report 2023 as part of the end of the year requirement report provided to the Department of Housing and Urban Development under the Entitlement Grantee Program. Thank you, Mrs. Lopez.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we move on to new business. Item number 11, discussion and any necessary action regarding the approval of the supplement agreement for CML-5169 related to the Imperial Avenue Traffic Signal Synchronization Project. And up to present is Mr. Abraham Campos, our Public Works Director and City Engineer.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Before you is a routine item for us in terms of requesting approval for funding received. This is a CMAQ funding grant that we received in the amount of $655,000. The purpose of this grant is to synchronize the signal lights in the area between Ocotillo Drive and Main Street. This project will propose to add fiber and technology to help make sure that we get more green lights as we're traversing Imperial Avenue as traffic is ever increasing. This is the first step. It allows us to allocate 85,000 towards engineering, and once we have that approval, we can go out and request an RFP to create a design. Next step is coming back with a similar agreement for us this one to request for construction going forward. At this point, I'm just asking for your support to approve this program supplement agreement, which is the step required to move us forward into design for this CMAQ project. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Colleagues?
The local match, Abraham, the
Yes.
12,000 local match, where's that coming from?
LTA, Measure D. So all of these projects we do leverage with our streets project. This is a streets eligible project as it involves streetlights. So it's a Measure D.
I appreciate that because the total funding is 97,000. And I think that the general public and the residents may assume that we're just constantly shelving out these dollars internally, right? But the point here is that not only is it a great project, but you are leveraging federal dollars, $85,000, and as you just mentioned, LTA dollars. And so this is a project that's essentially going to be paid for, obviously taxpayer dollars, but it's not coming out of the coffers of the city. This is partnerships that are coming into play, right? With LTA that I think falls under ICTC. I see David in the back, yourself. And so thank you for doing that. And I appreciate it. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to highlight that.
You're absolutely correct. Every time we do go for grants, especially this one, it's 88.53% is what the federal pays. That 11.47 difference is our match. That's basically our commitment to the federal government that we will back up the project, although the federal government is funding the vast majority of the project for the benefit of our citizens. And yes, this has no impact to the general fund whatsoever. This is purely out of a sales tax through Measure D.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Councilmember Carter or Garcia? Mr. Campos, do you think that there will be opportunities for other grants to maybe do the same type of project along some of the other corridors that are heavily trafficked here in
Of
El
course.
Centro? Yes, perfect.
We're constantly
Okay.
looking at these, and we do have ICTC present here, and they know that we fight for every dollar that we can in those meetings. There's a competitive process through in our region when we're selecting these projects. CMAQ is a highly competitive project. It's for congestion mitigation and air quality. That's how we get the funds for this. It's a very specific program. Synchronizing signal lights allows the public to travel faster, vehicles to travel faster. There's less idling, less greenhouse gases, and that's how we get the fund.
Perfect. Okay. And I think everyone has voted. So that resolution now passes 5-0. So we adopt resolution number 24-67, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving program supplement agreement number F033 to the administering agency state agent agreement for federal aid projects number 115-65169F15 with the California Department of Transportation. Alrighty. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Campos. We appreciate it. Okay. And next we go on to item number 12, community sponsorship request from MANA, the Imperial Valley, and we have Mr. Cedric Cesenia. Oh, ladies, did you want to introduce it first and then we'll have,
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. Good
Okay.
evening, Honorable Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. So before you, we have the community sponsorship request by MANA, the Imperial Valley, who is requesting support for their annual Las Primeras Awards Gala and Scholarship Fundraiser. I'll go a little bit into details. Hopefully I don't steal your thunder. So MANA de Imperial Valley is part of a national nonprofit that was established in 1974, and it focuses on empowering Latinas throughout various activities and initiatives. The local chapter was founded in 1993 by Grace Sesma and a group of dedicated women. In this event, at Las Primeras Awards Gala, is the annual event that honors community advocates and proceeds from these event goes to funding scholarships and educational programs. This year, the event is scheduled to happen on October 11th. There's a number of different levels of sponsorship ranging from $500 to $5,000. At this time, the mayor's recommendation and also the city manager's recommendation is a sponsorship for $500, which aligns with the available balance in the community sponsorship fund, which sits at $3,577 after a award that we will be making later on tonight through action, hopefully. So at this time, we're seeking direction and any necessary action in order to provide this sponsorship request.
Well, I'd like to now invite the ladies to come up and present if you'd like.
Cedric said it all. No, I'm just kidding.
I think he did steal your thunder, didn't he?
Sorry.
No, just a few things. No. But good evening, Madam Mayor Marroquin and esteemed members of the El Centro City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Cher Cowie, and this is Jennifer Rodriguez-Garoy, and we are the co-chairs representing Las Primeras, a nonprofit organization founded by Grace Sesma in 1993. Our mission is to empower Latinos through education, leadership, development, community service, and advocacy.
So over the past 3 decades, we have been committed to this mission, and last year, through the generosity of our community, we were able to raise $30,000 at our annual gala. These funds contributed to $253,000 we have awarded in scholarships to date, helping young men and women pursue higher education at 2- and 4-year universities.
This year marks our 30th anniversary, a significant milestone that we plan to celebrate with the very special Las Primeras Gala. To make this event a success and to continue our vital work, we are seeking sponsorship from the City of El Centro. Your support would not only honor the legacy of our organization, but also reinforce the city's dedication to fostering education, leadership, and service among our youth, particularly within the Latina community.
So we want to thank you for considering our request. With your help, we will continue to make a meaningful impact in the lives of young people, in our community.
Madam Mayor, I belong to the Mana de Imperial Valley organization. I'm on the board and I am the scholarship coordinator. For that reason, I will abstain and I will not vote.
Thank you so much. And so that sponsorship request has been approved, 4 approvals and 1 abstention. So thank you, ladies, for your presentation. Thank you. Next, we move on to item number 13, community sponsorship request for the Imperial Valley Memorial Event and 9/11 Stair Climb Committee. A presentation again by Mr. Cedric Cesena, our city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't see anybody from the 9/11 committee. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Way to throw me off. So we don't have anybody. So the next sponsorship request is from the Imperial Valley 9/11 Memorial Committee for the memorial event and stair climb. That's occurring later on in September. The Imperial Valley 9/11 Memorial Event and Stair Climb Committee is requesting the sponsorship for their annual memorial to honor the victims of September 11th. The committee is a nonprofit organization representing the fire service, law enforcement agencies, as well as other stakeholders in the community. The organization's mission is to ensure that the Imperial Valley continues to remember and pay tribute to those who lost their lives on September 11th of 2001. The annual memorial event will take place on September 7th at the Imperial Valley Fairgrounds. There's several different sponsorship levels. At this time, the mayor's recommendation, along with the city manager's recommendation, is for a consideration of a sponsorship of $911, which is one of those designated levels. We do have the funds necessary to cover this particular request, and we're seeking direction and any necessary action to issue this sponsorship.
And just for the record, I remember, Madam Mayor, we did have a presentation.
Yes, we
by
did.
the organization that shared and all the information and the benefits and the proceeds.
Yes, I remember Mr. Pitones was here to present. Yes, alrighty. Okay, so that request for the 9/11 Memorial Event and Stair Climb has been approved, 5-0. And so now we move on to item number 14, to ratify a letter of support for the grant submittal of the 2024 Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program. And once again, a presentation by Mr. Cedric Cesenia, our city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tonight, we do have a representative from ICTC. I don't know if he was expecting to speak tonight. So I don't want to steal anybody's thunder again. No, you're good. All right. So the letter that has been previously submitted, and it was requested on deadline of July 19th, 2024. So this letter is basically a request for a letter of support for the Imperial County Transportation Commission submittal of a grant application for the 2024 Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program under the California State Transportation Agency. The background on the project includes the Intermodal Transportation Center out of Calexico. This is a regional facility hub that will accommodate bus terminals, for Imperial Valley Transit, IVT Ride, Calexico Mobility on Demand, and Calexico Transit, as well as other services. As you know, a lot of our customers in El Centro do travel via public transit. So it was in our interest as well to issue this letter of support signed by yourself on July 19th and issued to ICTC for support. So it's before you for a ratification.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot, David. I do have a question, if you don't mind indulging me. And that is, I've been somewhat familiar with this project for several years now. I was under the impression that it was fully funded, or at least funded partially. And so I just wanted to ask, is my understanding that this program would help supplement any leftover costs for the ITC?
Well, first and foremost, good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is David Aguirre. I'm the Executive Director at the Imperial County Transportation Commission, also known as ICTC. So the letter of support is actually for a different project. It's actually for a transfer terminal at Calexico East Port of Entry. The Calexico West Port of Entry, we actually have funding for, and we're actually working on developing the project and getting it to construction, hopefully in the next couple months.
Oh, so this is for that transportation. So it would make pedestrian drop-offs and pickups in the East Port of Entry to come into town? Oh, yeah, it's really needed. Okay.
Yeah, that is
it
correct.
really is needed. There,
Yeah. Now, I remember there was discussions, right? There was folks from Mexicali that were offering up an opportunity to bring pedestrians to the Port of Entry, but then they would have to walk that quarter or half a mile across, and then what was going to happen with them. So this would serve that purpose. All
Correct.
right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the grant application actually included the facility itself, vehicles, transit services to be able to accommodate and serve that facility at the East Port.
Thank you for that clarification. No, that was
Absolutely.
really needed on my part because I was thinking about something completely different. So thank you for that.
No, absolutely. And if I have a minute or so, I'd like to thank the City of El Centro, the City of El Centro Council, and its staff for continuing to support ICTC. It's with support like this that we're able to secure grant opportunities to build this infrastructure. So we greatly appreciate the support, and we look forward to continuing to serve the City of El Centro and the remaining part of the County of Imperial in improving transit services and transit infrastructure. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Aguirre. Thank you. All righty. And so then the ratification of that letter passes 5-0. Thank you, colleagues. And we move on to presentations and announcements by the mayor. And I know that we are waiting on Miss Stacy Mendoza to arrive. But I don't see her in the audience yet, so.
Mayor, can we do the task force and the city
Yes,
manager
we're
report and we
gonna,
can
that's
move
what I
back?
was gonna say, is we're going to move on to, and then we'll come back to the presentation, so, all righty. Okay, so colleagues, we're going to move on to our task force reports, and I would like to start, I'm going to my left this time, okay, with Miss Sonia Carter.
Start with me, yeah. And you know how much I love being out in the community, but my health has taken a really good toll on me. And the last 8 weeks I have been down. So I don't have anything to report as far as being out in the city wise, but I do look forward to being back at the events and out there. But thank you. Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Garcia, nothing to report. Okay. And I'll go over to Mrs. Cardenas Singh.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to wish all of our students who have started school a very happy and academic school year. I know my granddaughter started school on Monday, yesterday, and it's just a good opportunity for all of us to be very mindful and careful as we're dropping off our most valued treasure, our children. So let's be careful out there as we're dropping off our children in the traffic, that we're very mindful of that. So to all the student staff and everyone that is working out at school sites, we just wish you a happy academic school year. Actually, I wanted to also take this opportunity to thank Mr. Abraham and your department. Been getting a lot of feedback from parents, really happy about the new stop signs that have been installed at Kennedy Middle School. Really excited about the new stop signs that have been installed around Central Union High School, and also hearing back from our residents about the stop sign that has been put on Wake Avenue with the punch through of Wake Avenue. So just getting a lot of feedback from residents, and very appreciative of being very mindful and proactive in making sure that we put those up before the school year started. So thank you to you and to your team for that. Well, the last time we met was July the 16th at our usual city council meeting. Really excited about attending the grand opening for Jersey Mike's. I had the opportunity to speak to the owner, and through Jersey Mike's, it gives the opportunity for 30 new employees, local employees that have been hired here in our community. Grand opening of the Goodwill, that was a great event as well. Again, wonderful opportunity, one, to shop, and two, when we talk about the opportunity for employment. Got to experience some delicious food at the summer cook-off with the Yalls versus our lifeguards. That was a great cook-off event, and it was wonderful to see leadership from our youth. Let's see, another item is we had our first cornhole tournament through our Friends of El Centro that allowed us to use this event as a fundraiser that then gets reinvested, and allowing our youth to either participate in sports, swim lessons, or offer an opportunity of programming at our El Centro library where there is no cost. So families who may find themselves in a hardship have the opportunity to apply for these scholarship funds to be able to pay if there is a registration fee of any kind. And then what I hear is we were able to fundraise over $5,000. So thank you to our City of El Centro staff for putting the event together and allowing us to have it there at the Martin Luther King. With that, Madam Mayor, that is the end of my report.
Councilmember Oliva.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. Colleagues, first, I just want to give a quick shout out to our colleague, Councilmember Ida Obeso Martinez, that's here in the audience from Imperial. It's good to see you. Thank you. I always like to see colleagues joining us. So thanks. In terms of some of the work, since we last met, obviously the Finance Ad Hoc Committee has met to give updates in relations to the city budget. We adopted it in the last special meeting, and for many of you that were here and joined us, we went from a presumed deficit to a surplus. We were very excited that our finance team was able to help us, guide us, and modernize and improve some of the systems that are in place. And so those are all great things that we're looking forward to. So thank you for all the hard work to the finance team. I participated in a fire department strategic planning interview that was put on by Chief Bernal. Chief Bernal is working on a fire department strategic plan that will be put in place. And so we're greatly looking forward to it. And hopefully my input is of some use. It'll get folded in somehow. But really looking forward to the final product. I think the consultant seemed to be very astute, very excited. And so look forward to that. The wellness program held a bowling event that I had a lot of fun participating in. It was great to see city staff and to find out how some folks are really good at bowling. Some folks just Like Cedric over here just drops the ball and somehow gets strikes. I don't know how that works. No effort whatsoever. And then you see people just like breaking their arm, throwing it down, and it doesn't do them any good. But it was cool to hang out with you all, and the wellness program, as I mentioned to my colleagues, they get together for a lot of fun things. And I think one of the events that I'm really looking forward to is getting together to see Deadpool and Wolverine on the 27th? Yes. Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, yes. And with that, participated with you, Madam Mayor, at the El Centro Elementary School District Teachers Welcome Back Program, which I'm sure you're going to talk about. But with that, colleagues, that is the end of my report.
Oh my gosh. So everybody stole my thunder. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So in terms of, my gosh, there's so much that's happened since we last met. We were at bless you, at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new Goodwill store. And so I had the honor of, just speaking, saying a few words to welcome them into the community and, the benefit that they will provide not only to our residents, but also to the city in terms of sales tax revenues. So another new business, and I seem to recall that Dairy Queen opened yesterday. So looking forward to revisiting some of my childhood memories, because they were around the corner from where I lived back in the day when it was here at the corner of State and Imperial Avenue. And let's see, also was at the cornhole tournament. My mother and my nephew were actually a team there, so didn't get very far, but it was fun for all of us. It was a nice event. So hopefully that'll become, it was an inaugural event, it'll become an annual event, and I'm sure that the event will continue to grow and grow and grow. So Councilmember Oliva and I were at the El Centro Elementary School District Welcome Back Teachers event. Oh my gosh, talk about the buzz of excitement in the room. And they had a performance that was put on by these kids that practiced for like 3 weeks. I thought I was at like a musical. They did such a fantastic job, right, Deputy Chief Brown? It's just like, and we were in awe of how well they did. It was it was like I was watching a professional performance. That's how well they did.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they made us feel very welcome there, and so it's nice to see all the buzz. I also work at a school. We don't start until tomorrow, but believe me, it's very hectic when school gets started. So for them to take the time to welcome back all of their teachers was really nice. I also participated in the fire department strategic plan interviews, and gosh, and last Friday evening I was invited to speak at it's a civic engagement community mural that they unveiled at the intersection of 4th and Broadway. And this mural was, the purpose of it is to encourage the community to vote, to register and to vote and to exercise that privilege. So it was really nice. I said a few words there as well. And so we have some other events that are coming up, and I'll leave those until next time. But before I move on to our presentations, I would like to take this time to express my sincere appreciation to all of the, not only to the fire department, to Battalion Chief Eduardo Ainza, and to the police department for the work that they did, Mr. Gus Ibarra, during the electrical outage that we had at Gio's Mobile Home Estates the weekend before last. That outage impacted 271 trailers that that are stationed at that mobile home park, but approximately 1,000 residents here in the city of El Centro. And unfortunately, we were not notified of the outage until later in the evening. This happened approximately at noon on a Saturday. And when we heard about it, when someone called, for help, was probably about 8 o'clock in the evening. And so within minutes, we had boots on the ground at the mobile home park, fire and other staff. I know the police department and Gus participated with, by going door to door and conducting wellness checks on all the residents. And I know that we met on a Sunday with, not only fire, police, but I guess she's the property manager, but she's also the daughter of the owner of the park. And so, we expressed the to her how urgent this matter was and that they get the electricity up and running. And so I'm happy to report that, Mr. Cedric Cesenia was keeping us updated. These first responders and Gus, who works for a supervisor in our Parks and Recreation Department, were up all night, to ensure that these residents were safe, that they were provided with some shelter, where it wasn't so hot, because you can imagine how hot those trailers must get. And so we did have a few residents that chose to stay there. And so we were really, putting the pressure on the owners to get the problem fixed. And by Monday morning, the electricity had been turned on to all but except 16 trailers. And they continued to work on, the problem, to fix the problem. And by that evening, we were able to restore the power, I should say the IID, because, this was a collaboration. It wasn't just the City of El Centro, but the IID was involved and the County of Imperial, because, something that we learned is that the mobile home parks within the city are under the county's jurisdiction. So they were very helpful in ensuring that once the repairs were made, that the county was there to do the inspection so that the IID can turn the power back on. But in the meantime, some of these residents experienced loss of food that was in the refrigerators. And so I know that the Imperial Valley Food Bank stepped in to assist with that. The owners did provide vouchers for hotel stays for those residents that chose to leave, and others had already gone to stay with friends or relatives. But it was a monumental effort, and I really would like to express my thanks to everyone that was involved in ensuring that our residents were safe and that they were back in their homes as soon as possible. So thank you. Would any of my colleagues like to say anything?
I would, Madam Mayor. I would like to echo those same sentiments. I think when we received the phone call, just the despair of not knowing where to go, and immediately just jumped into action. You can sit here and talk about jurisdiction. You can sit here and talk about liability and all these issues. We're talking about residents. We're talking about families. We're talking about senior citizens, individuals that may have some type of a disability. And immediately we mobilized. I know that knocking on doors to ensure that residents were safe was a huge effort. And I just really appreciate that. At the end of the day, we came together as a community to ensure that no one, right, was out in this heat. It was absolutely horrible. And then, for that moment, being displaced. And then for many individuals who have their pets, they were very worried about their pets. And then, of course, the financial loss of groceries that were in a refrigerator that unfortunately, right, were no longer able to be consumed. And so everybody mobilized, everyone came together. No one said, I'm too tired. Everyone just jumped in. Gus, as a matter of fact, we had just finished the cornhole, the cornhole tournament. And then so I think he didn't sleep in something like 30 hours just to make sure that we took care of everyone. So I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for doing not just a good job, but caring about the individuals in our community. So I thank you, and thank you for that.
Okay, so would anybody else like to contribute?
I would just like to say thank you. I know some of the families who lost food and, the kids that live there, and they were talking about, this is an experience that they won't forget. So, my heart, it just goes out to everybody. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, to the city of El Centro, because it takes a team, it takes a village. It's not just an I. And thank you.
All righty. So while excuse me, no, go ahead, Mr.
Just
Garcia.
want to, echo the comments of my colleagues. Thank you very much to the fire department, to the police department for stepping up in a time of crisis. Of course, the city staff who always does an amazing job, and to our city manager, Cedric Cesanian, for keeping us updated into the wee hours of the morning. I have text messages from 1 in the morning from Cedric, and just making sure that we were informed, making sure that the problem was being addressed from top down. And a great job all around everybody.
Thank you, colleagues. And so while we are waiting for Mrs. Stacy Mendoza, I would also like to announce some of our, upcoming events and so on. So we have released our special events calendar. It has the times, dates, and locations of our signature events within the City of El Centro. Make sure that you visit our website at cityofcelcentro.org or our social media pages for more information. We are also inviting vendors to participate. There's limited space for vendors, so please, for those vendors that are hopefully watching, please make sure that you submit your applications, especially if you're a food vendor, because I know that there are other things that that take a little bit more time that we have to get through. So we are now accepting applications for our first responders wall engravings. Okay, it's open to first responders such as firefighters, police officers, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, and public safety dispatchers. The deadline to submit an application is September the 6th of this year. Of course, the cost is $285, and it is open to all first responders within the Imperial County, past or present. And if you'd like more information about that, please call Mrs. Bianca Sanabria at 760-337-4545. And our police department would like to remind the public to have a safe Labor Day celebration. Our police department will have additional officers on patrol now through Labor Day weekend. So be on the lookout. Because, I've noticed that something is, something that I'd like to mention is that, during my Mondays with the Mayor event, we received many comments and complaints from residents about speeding throughout the city. And it's not just on the main thoroughfares, but also through residential areas. And I personally have witnessed many speeders, not only down my street, but others, and also failing to either even yield at a stop sign, they just pass along. And, this is, and I say this because it's important that we not only think about ourselves, but of others, when we are driving, because whatever action we decide to take will not only impact us personally, but it'll impact others. So please be mindful of, watching your speed as you're driving down any of the streets within the city, or if you travel out, even on the freeways. So, so the police department will be out there to ensure that commuters are respecting the driving laws. So, all righty. So.
Looking at me, Madam Mayor, I can do my report if you
I'm
like.
City manager, so yes, and I left, it's not that I left the best for last.
Oh,
Okay, there you go.
I can do my report
Alrighty.
really
Okay.
slowly.
An estimated time on Stacy, anybody?
Yeah, 7:05. She's almost here. By 7:05.
She's in Alcatillo? Oh. Like the township of Alcatillo?
She'll be here by 7:05.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, all right, so.
Well,
You have a 10-minute report, Cedric.
I can repeat everything.
Spell everything out, okay?
Well, those that know me know that I can talk. Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. I can tap dance. So we did had actually staff bid farewell to Stacy on the 18th. That was actually a really nice small event. We also had our last Monday with the Mayor event that took place at the old post office pavilion. But most importantly, we went to the Wild Wonders at the library. There was no snakes. I'm very happy to report. Don't like snakes.
Or spiders.
Nor spiders. Although I spent plenty of time in the wild and urban interface fighting fire, and I ran across multiple of those. So that was hard. Jersey Mike's, I think everybody in the community in the Imperial Valley was, patiently waiting. So finally opened up, and I actually walked side by side with Mike Amatia, the owner. Coincidentally, that's his name, Mike. And at the ribbon cutting, he was, super happy that the business was finally open and running, and so are we. The Yals and Junior Lifeguard Cook-Off, I like to eat, and that was actually a really interesting event. It's always a lot of fun, and there's always really good food that's served. I had a lot of fun serving in this particular event alongside Javier Villaverde, Adriana Nava, as well as our mayor. And we all had the opportunity to taste some seafood as well. Not a seafood person, but it was there. The city family has grown by 9 members since our last regular meeting. So we had a new police records clerk that was added to the police department. Our finance department also had a financial UB assistant that was added. Today, the fire department grew by 4 firefighters. Earlier today, we swore in a group of firefighters, as well as the police department had a new dispatcher added to the roster. And our public works department also grew by 2. So we had 2 new employees in the public works department. That's always great to see our family grow. In addition to that, the mayor, as well as our public information officer, had the opportunity to attend el tercer informe de gobierno de la presidenta municipal de Mexicali. That was actually an event that we attended. Additionally to that, on August 8th, I had the opportunity to attend the Imperial Avenue Complete Streets Project Plan Community Meeting. That was one of a couple of meetings that have happened, and it was well attended. I saw a lot of people there. I had to split and go to the DJ at the skate park as well that night. We were also taking ideas for new murals that are going to be put into the bowls where the skaters actually do their tricks. So we also had so the community service department had the shaved ice as well as the DJ that was playing music out there. It was a little warm, but I mean, obviously those young kids don't, nothing deters them from skating. So additionally, the city manager's office had the opportunity to make a presentation to the Kiwanis Club at noon. Also, the city staff bowling night, that was pretty cool. I became despondent on the game and started just really throwing the ball down, and it kept on hitting everything. It seemed like a magnet, for the pins. I don't know how that works, but the less I cared about the game, the better I did. It seemed like it worked in reverse. Also attended the teacher appreciation event along with council member Oliva as well as the mayor. And that was, really energizing. It was High School Musical for those of you guys that know High School Musical. So it was, we're in this together. It was the whole, all the dancing routines and things like that. Very much like it's been mentioned, I think, I have to reiterate the thank you to the staff and the attention that was paid and advocating for the residents at GEOs, the police department, fire department, public works, community development, community services, as well as the city manager's office all put in some work. During the hours of the night, while nobody knew, a whole shelter was put together at MLK if we had overflow of people that couldn't stay at a hotel. So that was, ready, up and running. Luckily, we never had to actually utilize it, but the American Red Cross stepped in to assist us with that during that time. Also want to highlight the great work that the police department is actually putting out. There's a lot of good, social media, posts out there about our officers doing a great job in and around schools. Our school resource officers are actually doing a great job as well as our beat officers. And I don't want to let the meeting end without highlighting that my buddy Brad Chapin is still assigned to the park fire. He's been gone already for a couple of weeks, and it looks like he's going to be gone through the end of the month. All I gotta say is that I miss the dude a little bit, not a whole lot, because then he thinks he's got something on me. But totally, I fully know what it's like to be gone from home, for that amount of time. So he's, one of, I think, the only members of the fire service in the Imperial County that is actually assigned to an incident management team at the state level. So, that's something very important. Really good work that he's doing out there. He's a base camp manager. So he's putting in, tremendous work on behalf of the city, but most importantly, helping the communities around the Park Fire in the state of California as well. So that's all I have for tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
And while we're still waiting for Mrs. Mendoza, I would like to add to Mr. Ceseña's comments in regards to the firefighters. I know that we still have a few firefighters that are deployed on strike teams, and I know that some have returned, but like Brad Chapin, that's still out there, and I'm sure that he's got some of his other colleagues with them. So we would like to not only thank them for their service and helping throughout the state of California as we face these, terrible, fires that seem to plague us each year. And also thank them for their sacrifice, because I know that that could be very dangerous. So thank you. I'd also like to congratulate Sergeant Malcolm from our police department for his critical role in implementing several new technological-based programs, which are focused on providing better service to our community. So I know that he was featured on our social media pages, and so we'd also like to extend our congratulations for the great job that he has done for our police department. So, and while we're waiting for Mrs. Mendoza, so she in about 2 minutes. Okay.
No speeding, for the record.
I know a magic trick.
Oh, so we're going to turn this into a variety show as well. So we'll just patiently wait for Mrs. Mendoza to arrive, and
She's dedicated so many years to the city of El Centro.
Yeah,
We can wait
so-
a couple of minutes.
yeah, we can wait.
Maybe we can talk a little bit about the cook-off between the y'alls and the
Oh,
lifeguards.
I'm sorry, I didn't mention that during my my report, but yes, I was
Their
one of the.
community service
I was asked to be a
hours.
judge, and so yeah, that was we always get to taste a variety of different foods, and I have to commend all the youth that participated in this, because I'm not a cook, so but it was good. Some of the dishes, we had a full-fledged meal, that started with the drink, and then we got an appetizer, and then we had the main entree and a dessert, So of course you can guess that dessert was my favorite part, but but it was pretty good, I have to say that.
And maybe the community service hours that were
And so
by our y'alls.
Yes, and so, after we had a meal or two, then we also recognized all of those youth that participated in the program and the number of hours that they put into this. It's just like, it was commendable. I know that we had one young lady that put in like 120 hours. And so it was commendable to see, how dedicated these youth are. And I have to say that today I received a compliment from a parent that had their child participating in some of our recreation programs over the summer. It was,
Walking.
pardon?
I see her walking.
Yeah, so oh, good, she's, Stacy's here, but, when kudos to Parks and Recreation for all of the summer programs that were put on, for the youth of our community, because let me tell you, the kids enjoy it. So.
There she is.
So the woman of the hour is here. What, Stacy, don't even bother sitting down, just come right up.
One thing this little small town girl hasn't learned yet is traffic and rush hour.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's unpredictable, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's just like, so that's why I appreciate living in El Centro so much, because we can get from point A to point B within a matter of minutes, okay? So it's like, so Mrs. Stacy Mendoza, we would like to, pay tribute to you for the 35 years of dedicated service that you, oh my gosh, that you spent here at the City of El Centro. And so to show our appreciation, okay, we would like to present you, Mrs. Stacy R. Mendoza, our Economic Development Manager, for 35 years of outstanding and dedicated service to the city of El Centro. So you were hired in September of 1988, and then you retired in July of 2024, but you still continue to work. So technically, it's just like you're not a retiree just yet. Okay, so we would like to present this plaque to you from not only the council but also from the city of El Centro. And before I do that, I would like to go down the dais and ask my colleagues, to say a few words.
Yes, wonderful. Ms. Stacy, congratulations. I really appreciate the hard work that you have dedicated to all of the residents of the city of El Centro, from working as a 911 dispatcher and then working your way up to the last position that you had. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your great work and your commitment, not only as an employee, but also your commitment to your community as a council member for Imperial. So congratulations to you, and so excited about this new step and chapter in your life. So congratulations to you and to your family.
Thank you.
Yes, Stacy. I know that it's probably difficult to have the spotlight on you, and if I know you well enough, I know that you're uncomfortable with all of this, right? But I do, and I'm glad that you agreed to it, because there are lives that were touched with the work that you did. And there were a lot of friendships that you created here. And although you may not want it, we certainly want to say thank you. We certainly want to tell you how all that work impacted. And one of my greatest memories in the time that we've been able to work together is hoofing it down Main Street, knocking on all those businesses and letting them know of all the funding that was available during COVID to help them bounce back and to help them apply for funding. And that to me was great, because I didn't know that you did stuff like that, right? I didn't appreciate that. But certainly you were like, let's go. You really did care. What was that?
In the summer.
That's right. That's right. And that's just a reflection of your dedication of our community here. And so for those businesses, for the customers that now get to appreciate, we have spent years here talking about new restaurants, new stores, new this or that. And that didn't just kind of happen. That happens because of the work that you did. And so for that quality of life that folks brag about, Jersey Mike's being here, Chipotle being here, Dairy Queen, and all this, you were behind all of that. And you made that happen for the residents of Imperial County, the residents of El Centro, to be able to come in and enjoy those businesses. And so please, again, humbly, I ask that you allow us to say thank you, because it's a sincere and genuine thank you for all the years of service that you have provided for the residents that live here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Carter, would you like to?
I think Tomas used my time too.
Just kidding.
I just want to say congratulations on your new journey, Stacy. 35 years of memories. Wow. You can't beat that. You just 35 years. You're going to remember everything. You're going to sit back and just think and just enjoy life. Enjoy your retirement. And we will definitely be in touch. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Mr. Garcia?
Stacy, congratulations on your retirement. I hope you enjoy whatever endeavors come next. You're extremely active in the community with your service in Imperial and the City Council. How you found the time to do that? Service. The face of the city has your footprint all over it. The face of the city has your footprint all over it, with all the businesses that have come here and your dedicated service throughout the years. So really enjoy your time, enjoy your retirement, and good luck.
Lady Miss Stacy. So, going back to what Councilmember Oliva said about knocking on the doors of all those downtown businesses, as you know, that my colleague, Ms. Cardenas Singh and I have been working on revitalizing the downtown area. So that is something that we truly appreciate your efforts, because we certainly didn't want to see any more businesses, go out of business. And, and all of that, and your efforts also, help bring new businesses back into the downtown area. So we appreciate that as well. Not only that area, but throughout the city of El Centro. And so I know that your coworkers, your colleagues miss you. And so are we, because, just this evening, we had the CAPER report presented. And so I know that that is something that you've always worked on. And so I know that now Mrs. Obeso is going to carry the torch for you, so. But, again, from all of us on the council, we just would like to thank you for your years of dedicated service to the city and the community as a whole. So again, thank you. And so we'd like to present you with your official retirement. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere.
Pictures.
Yes. She was trying to get away.
Here we go. Thank you.
Stacy, would you, oh, wait, Emilio, wait, just a second. Would you like to invite some of your family members, maybe your husband to come up with you? And yeah. Yeah, oh, good, perfect timing. Maybe we can invite your family to come up.
Right on.
Perfect timing.
Oh.
Competition of the clay.
Wait.
Just look at my hair. Ready? Ready?
Oh my gosh, Joselito. Oh my gosh, you found out yourself. Thank you, Stacy.
I want to be able to just say a couple things.
Okay.
I think that there's at least 3 of you up there. I think that you were promised a little bit of a soapbox, but being respectful for your time, I'm going to make this really quick. It's no longer going to affect me because I am officially retired, but as a pay it forward to the rest of the people that are still working for you guys here at the City of El Centro, I let a few of you council members know that I wanted to respectfully ask to please have staff revisit the longevity pay. We had a very long conversation about this. I think a couple of us did. After 35 years of service, I am not eligible for longevity pay. However, if Adriana, whenever she fills this position, hires somebody brand new, that's brand new to the city, in 10 years, they're eligible for longevity. There's a disconnect somewhere. So as my pay it forward to my fellow staff members, I'm asking, please have somebody revisit the longevity pay. As far as saying thank you, I thank all of you. It's for 35 years, I've gone through, I don't know how many council members, I don't know how many directors, supervisors, co-workers, and family. They are my family. I'm very fortunate that I'm ending my tenure here with probably the best team here at the City of El Centro. I would like to brag. And I know that they're here with me tonight. And I couldn't have done it without all the friends that I've made and the family I've made. I promised I wasn't going to do this. From police, the trauma that you go through, then going on to engineering, it's a very uplifting team. It's kind of change. It's a whole different perspective when you leave the police department and you come to an 8 to 5. And thank you. I never realized till now what good friends I had here and what family I have here. And I miss you all terribly. I'm enjoying my new life, but I do miss you all terribly. And so know that you are loved. All of you are loved. And I have to tell you, I've been talking to the girls a lot lately. So. But I do miss my family. And so thank you to all of you. And that's
Well, thank you, everybody. It is now 7:15, and this meeting is adjourned.